There was time for a quick photo, but then it was straight down to business for the US Secretary of State.
We're not asking nations to choose between the United States and China, because that's not how we operate.
But Mike Pompeo is highlighting what the US sees as irresponsible actions by Beijing.
Whether that's efforts to steal data across networks, which you just referred to in terms of the decision Australia made, or militarize the South China Sea, something President Xi promised the world he would not do, or engage in activities where they foist money on nations that are desperate for resources and leave them trapped in debt.
Amid a deepening trade war, Foreign Minister Marise Payne admitting Australia shares some of Washington's concerns,
such as intellectual property theft and industrial subsidies. At the same time, we have to also be clear that protectionism is not the answer.
While global tensions were high on the agenda, the Secretary of State used this year's AUSMIN to reiterate the unbreakable bond between the two nations. Mike Pompeo promising that the United States will always be there for Australia. That as the US asks Australia to step up to the plate in the Persian Gulf.
The purpose of our proposed operations in the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman has been twofold. First of all, to promote the principle of freedom of navigation and freedom of commerce through all waterways, particularly that one, number one. Number two is to prevent any provocative actions by Iran.
Defence Minister Linda Reynolds says Australia is seriously considering whether to send our Navy to participate.
The request that the United States has made is a very serious one, and it is a complex one. That's why we are currently giving this request very serious consideration.
Stella Todorovic, Sky News, Sydney.